House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy may be that much closer to the job. He's never been quiet about wanting. Here he is 7 years ago before he blew it, and House Republicans rallied instead for Paul Ryan. Do you have the votes? Will you be the next speaker? Have you locked it up?
I feel very good about where I'm at.
At this hour, Republicans are set to meet behind closed doors to determine if McCarthy should be next in line to get that job of House Speaker if Republicans win the majority. He faces a potential challenge from Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. One member planning to be in that meeting is Republican Congressman Andy Barr from Kentucky, who joins us now. Congressman, thanks so much. You and your campaign had a good night in Kentucky. You won re-election by around 30 points. But your overwhelming victory was not really replicated by other Republicans across the country. The red wave that was predicted on Fox never materialized. What did you make of the results on election night, and why do you think it happened that way?
Well, Jake, thanks for having me on the program. And obviously, Republicans, including Republicans in Congress, are disappointed that that red wave did not materialize. But no matter how you cut it, Republicans are materially better off today as we head towards what appears to be a Republican, although a small Republican majority in the House, because the principal goal of this election was to retire Nancy Pelosi, to take back the House. It appears we're well on the way to doing that. And that means that we're going to be able to stop this disastrous Biden agenda that continues to wreak havoc on our economy. The inflation crisis, the border crisis, the crime crisis, none of that changes. The president's approval rating is still historically low. And so the problems facing our country are the same, but what will change will be a change in the leadership of the House of Representatives, and that will provide a much-needed check and balance to the federal government, which I think will be good in the long run in terms of solving some of these problems and providing some accountability instead of one-party rule in Washington.
In just a few minutes, you will be joining the rest of your caucus in a meeting to discuss who's going to lead Republicans in the House. Since Election Day, some in your party have been threatening to not support Kevin McCarthy in his bid to be Speaker. Texas Congressman Chip Roy told reporters that no one currently has 218 votes. Virginia Congressman Bob Good says McCarthy has not done anything to earn my vote. Just a short while ago, Congressman Matt Gaetz told CNN's Melanie Zanona that Kevin McCarthy is not the right man to unify the House Republican caucus. Do you think McCarthy is at risk of not being picked to lead your party?
I do not think he is at risk. I think Kevin McCarthy will be not only our leader, but I think he'll be the Speaker of the House. No one in our conference has done more to pick up these seats that we have. Look, again, we are disappointed we didn't have the red wave that we wanted, but that certainly wasn't Kevin McCarthy's fault. Kevin McCarthy did more to raise money to recruit candidates, and by the way, candidates who are well positioned and who did win their districts and beat incumbent Democrats. If you look at the places where Republicans fared poorly, a lot of that had to do with primaries that resulted in selecting a candidate that didn't fit the general election electorate. And so Republicans need to have certainly soul searching about how we can do better in 2024. After all, we owe it to our philosophy to win. So let's look at how we can do better and how we can win. Kevin McCarthy has been dedicated to taking back the House. He's accomplished that objective, and so I think no one can lay claim to doing more to help our conference than Kevin McCarthy. He deserves to be the next speaker.
So it's interesting that you raise that, the idea of electing or nominating more extreme candidates, more MAGA candidates. That absolutely was a hindrance to your party's goals. The irony is that because voters voted against candidates like that, extremists, the ones who did win re-election, like Lauren Boebert in Colorado or Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, who have demands for Kevin McCarthy, like we get to depose of a speaker on the floor of the House whenever we want, they are going to have more power than ever before. And I wonder how much you're afraid that those individuals will distract from the business that you and more mainstream Republicans want to achieve if, in fact, you win the House.
Well, I think in a very narrow majority, every single member, whether they're moderate, whether they're conservative, whether they're Freedom Caucus, all members have a lot of leverage, right? Because you can't lose any one vote. What it means is we have to be unified. If we're not unified, then none of these Republicans will get what they want. The only way to advance our cause, advance the cause of conservatism, to provide that check, that meaningful check and balance on the Biden administration and be the voice that our constituents sent us to Washington to be, is to stay united. Otherwise, we might as well not even be in the majority. We just might as well turn over control of the House floor to the Democrat majority. So I hope that's the lesson, that all members, regardless of where they are in the party ideologically, I hope we come to that consensus. No doubt, it's going to be a challenge, but I think we all need to recognize that if there's any substantial defections in a small majority, we might as well not even be in the majority. And that's, I hope, the lesson that we will take from this. But at the end of the day, while Republicans are certainly disappointed we didn't have a red wave, they don't give out small, medium, or large-sized gavels. They only give out gavels.
Right.
And the goal is to get the majority, because then we set the agenda, we will have oversight authority, and we will be able to put the brakes on this Biden agenda. That's why the American people have given us this apparent majority.
Republican Congressman Andy Barr from Kentucky, thank you, and congratulations again on your reelection. Appreciate your being here today. I'm also going to speak with former Vice President Mike Pence about the future